Here on the top of the Capitol Dome in Washington you can see the Goddess of Freedom, also known as Semiramis, Queen of Babylon, who later became Isis of Egypt. Now we suggest the dome itself represents the womb of the goddess, so if the dome represents the womb of the goddess, we should find nearby the phallus of the god, ready to impregnate her and bring forth the spirit of the sun god. And we most certainly do. Facing the dome is the phallus of the sun god, the Washington Monument. During his research for his amazing book Apollyon Rising 2012, which actually hit #1 in the book charts the day of its release, Dr. Tom Horn travelled to Washington DC, where he met with Masons at the House of the Temple, the headquarters of the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite. Horn says these men were very cordial and mostly responsive to his questions. They even confirmed his understanding of the influence of Freemasonry in American history. It was only when he pressed one of them about a ritual called the raising ceremony, the raising of Osiris from the dead it's also known as, which is conducted in the temple room on the 3rd floor of the building. It's only then that these Masons became evasive and visibly uncomfortable. The reason for this, according to Dr. Horn, is that in addition to the raising ceremony being conducted when members reach the 33rd degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry, this strange ceremony is performed without public knowledge in this very temple room at the inauguration of every United States president. Why is that? Because deep esoteric meaning behind Egyptian and Rosicrucian magic that was incorporated into the rites and rituals of Freemasonry hold that the spirit of Osiris can be raised from the underworld and installed, for want of a better term, in the reigning king or president. According to Tom Horn, this is why the US Capitol Dome is laid out so as to face the obelisk, the phallus of the sun god, known as the Washington Monument. An interesting point regarding the obelisk in Washington, the Washington Monument. The column is 6,666 inches high, and each side is 666 inches long. Now, obviously, this cannot be an accident, because we remember that the Antichrist's number in the Bible is 666. Well, folks, now for the new news, this blasphemous news. A new monument is on its way to the National Mall. It's not going to be permanent, but it is nonetheless blasphemous. It is going to be a 45 feet tall sculpture of a completely naked woman. It's planned to stand by the Washington Monument facing the White House with arms outstretched toward the phallus, as if inviting it to come and perform the sex act. Additional events will include a burning ceremony, a dance party, and what is known as a combination vigil. There are plans to burn at least one ceremonial artwork, but the design for this artwork has not yet been released. The sculpture is expected to remain at the site from November 2017 through to March 2018. The recent efforts to bring the statue to DC are not affiliated with Burning Man or its regional events. Instead, the plans are headed by a group called Catharsis on the Mall. For those who aren't sure what catharsis means, it's the process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions, which I guess include sexual, moral emotions. You can be released from them. It's also interesting to note that this celebration, which has nothing to do with Christianity or politics, but is pagan, it's due to take place on November the 9th, the anniversary to the very day of the election of US President Donald Trump. So we see the Capitol building in the shape of the womb of the goddess, facing the phallus of the sun god. But coming in November, on the very anniversary of Donald Trump's election win, will be a statue of a naked woman with open arms welcoming the phallus. Can it get any more blasphemous or in your face?